Hey bestie, so imagine you think you found the love of your life. Whole time, he was sent to literally destroy you. Scary story time. So there's this girl, we're gonna call her Lisa. So Lisa grew up very poor. Her dad and her mom had to work multiple jobs to keep up the house. And they were working hard. And so they never played about education when it comes to Lisa. Because Lisa was an only child, their only child. So they were very strict about that. And Lisa was a very good kid too. She did everything she had to do. She always had straight A's. You guys get the point, right? She's now in high school and she has the perfect GPA. She's applying to tons and tons of colleges, like Ivy League colleges too. So everybody's excited for her. Her parents, her best friend, and we're gonna call her best friend Mary. Even in high school, Lisa wasn't really interested in boys. She was more so focused on her education. Her best friend, on the other hand, was a little different. She had boyfriends and stuff like that. Her grades were good, just not as good as Lisa's. But that's like the perfect best friend balance, right? Because Lisa would always help Mary with her homework, her work, or whatever it is that she needs to do. Anyway, they're about to graduate college, and Lisa gets accepted into one of the top Ivy League schools. And it is a celebration, especially for Lisa's parents. They are so proud of her. Family and Mary, they go out together, they go out to eat, they celebrate. It's a fun time, it's a great time. Unfortunately, that means that she has to now separate from her best friend because the Ivy League school that she's going to is very far from her home. And her best friend, like I said before, her grades weren't as good. So she didn't really she got into college, just not like Ivy League. Anyways, they separate, they go on to college. They still keep up with each other, because they're still best friends. They see each other on holidays and, you get it. Everything is going amazing for Lisa. She studied very hard, she did her time, and she is now about to earn her master's. And before earning her master's, she's already found a great job. It's guaranteed to be even greater once she gets her master's. So anyways, it's time to graduate, and her family, her best friend, they are so proud of her that they throw her this huge graduation party. It was so fun. It was a great time. And at that party, her best friend introduces her cousin to Lisa, and they hit it off instantly. Like, they instantly clicked. So they started talking turned into hanging out, and hanging out turned into dating. And Lisa's life couldn't be more perfect. Not only that she just finished her education, she has a great job, she thinks she may have found the one. Everything is falling into place. Until Lisa and Mary's cousin, let's call him Bob, they're dating for about 5 months now. Everything still feels great, except that Lisa's life started to fall apart. The first thing that happened was that one time, Bob was driving Lisa to work with Lisa's car, and they get into an accident and she totaled her car. I mean, that happens, right? And so this slows her down a little bit, but she's still trying to, keep it up. If you want to be in the video, just say that. And then other things started happening, like her bosses started acting very weird towards her at work. She's not progressing like she's supposed to be. She would always vent to Bob and, of course, her best friend Mary about this. Because all of a sudden, it seems like her life is just declining. Everything is just going wrong. And she's thinking, everybody goes through things in life. Maybe this was my time to go through things because I never really went through anything. She was just always focused on achieving her goals, which she did, until she got sick. And I mean like real sick.
I just got DoorDash from Applebee's, and this was $22 for this little tiny piece of steak. I'm sorry. This portion could feed my toddler. What the fuck? Look at the potatoes! It's like... Anyways, we got some French onion soup. We got some spinach artichoke dip. The bourbon sirloin steak. And apparently... one single mashed potato, probably this size of a potato, boiled and mashed. One. And then I got a Shirley Temple, but this is what I really wanted, so I guess. No, that's always a hit. That's always a hit. Smash. Moment of truth. I also, look at how shaky that is. I got medium well. Medium well. I don't know. Come on. Get on there, bitch. I mean, okay. Okay. It's good. It's not medium well, though. It needs to be a little more pink than that. No, I didn't say medium well. I said medium rare. That's not medium rare. Can't go wrong with spinach artichoke dip, too. I really need to learn how to make this. It is so good. It's like an addiction. So I'm watching scary stuff on YouTube right now, and it just reminded me of the time that my friend Jamie and I one time saw a fucking skinwalker in the woods behind her house. It wasn't really technically behind her house. Like, we went pretty deep in the woods. So, like I said, my friend Jamie and I, we went out into the woods behind her parents' house. And, like, we live out in rural Vermont at the time. Deep in the fucking woods. And she, like, lived in a house that was literally... All of her land was woods, basically. Her neighbors were not very close by, but they still had, like, those, like, property lines, like the stone wall property lines, you know what I'm saying? Like, those really old-timey ones. Her parents always told us not to cross over those stone wall lines, and this day we did. We were, like, being rebellious little fucking asshole kids. So we did. We weren't supposed to cross over there because the guy who owned that property would shoot kids, would shoot fucking anybody on his property, didn't matter who or what. But anyways, we ended up getting lost because that was, like, not part of the woods that we were, like, familiar with, because clearly we were not supposed to be in there and we had never been in there before. In our freak attack, like, little kid minds, we were like, okay, we need to go find the river. Which was actually pretty smart, because if you can find the river, you can most likely find, like, your way back to, like, your destination, if you're smart about it. I don't know. Like, we're kids that grew up in the woods. Obviously, we knew that type of stuff. But, so we made our way down to the river, and I remember sitting on a rock that was, like, next to this big boulder type rock. You know what I mean? Like, it was, like, boulder, smaller rock leaning against the boulder. We sat on that rock for a little bit, contemplating what to do, but it was getting dark, so we had to try to find our way back soon, because I was a little pussy at the time. Like, I was not having it. I was like, Jamie, we have to fucking go. I'm scared of the dark. I'm scared of the woods, and that's, like, both of those things going on right now, so we need to go. But before we could start going, we started to hear some stuff around the side of the boulder, and I thought it was just kind of like a squirrel or, like, some kind of other animal or something. Like, there's deer, there's literally little animals all over the forest where we live. Something about it sounded heavy, and there was, like, little grunts and growls that went along with it, so we were like, oh fuck, is that like a bear? So she was the braver one of us too, and she peeked her head around the corner of the boulder to look, and she was like, bro, we need to get out of here now. And when I looked around, it was, like, this, oh God, it was, like, skinny gray, but, like, a sickly kind of, like, I don't want to say blue-gray, because it wasn't blue. It was, like, a sickly gray color. I don't know how else to explain the color of it. But it was long, lanky, and tall, and, like, it was hunched over something. Looked like it was, like, eating something. I couldn't tell what it was doing because its back was turned to us, but I could see that shit clear as day, even though it was dark out. Like I said, it was like, it wasn't fully completely dark out. It was like, I want to say close to dinner time in the summertime, which is like, it gets dark out but you can still see, but we were also in the woods covered by trees, so it was a bit darker for us, if that makes any sense. I've never ran so fast in my entire fucking life. We thought we were lost, dude. We just ran. Thankfully, we fucking found our way back to her house, her mom's house. And we didn't ever cross over that little threshold ever again. We didn't get shot that day, but maybe we could have been fucking eaten by whatever the hell that thing was. As I think about it more, I think it was a skinwalker or something. I don't know. I don't know what else it could have been, to be honest. I've never seen one since then either. And I know it wasn't just my mind, because she confirms that shit too. No thank you. Holy shit.
Hey, bestie. I got my snack, and you might want to get yours for this story time. We're just gonna jump right into it. So, the submitter of this story, he says he got visited by a spirit. This spirit is a spirit of a woman. Let's call her Carol. Now, Carol actually had a really sad story to what happened to her. In 1803, Carol was raped by 3 men. And then when they were done with her, they drowned her in a huge tank and then basically just left her there. So unfortunately, she went out pretty sadly. So at this point, this horrible thing happened to her. And as she was there losing her life, she was crying for help. And so when she ended up losing her life, she was still just roaming around asking for help, right? And then she met this witch. And the witch was able to communicate with her, and the witch could tell that clearly, like, she was asking for help. And so the witch was basically like, hey, I'll help you, but we have to make a deal. I can help you if you can help me unalive 3 men. And once you do this one thing for me, I will help you. So she agrees to the deal, and she does exactly that because, she's a spirit. She unalives all 3 of the men that the witch told her to unalive. But after she did that, she became a murder demon, decide to kill men. And so after that was when she realized that she was actually tricked. The witch tricked her because the witch just kept asking her like, hey, now I need you to unalive this person and this man and this man and that man, and then I'm going to help you. And at this point, there's nothing that, she can really do because she already agreed to the deal. And if you know anything about black magic, if you agree to something, you have to go through with it. Now, this is where it gets good. But before I go on with the story, did you get my ebook yet? You mean to tell me you watch all these stories and I tell you about all these things that are real and I have an ebook that teaches you how to protect yourself and you don't have it? That's crazy. It's okay. It's okay. I forgive you. Better late than never. Click that link in my bio. The link tree. It's called Cleansed and Covered. And go protect yourself. All right? Okay. Anyways, so that witch ended up telling, the girl, Carol. We called her Carol. The witch told Carol to go unalive the submitter. And so Carol doesn't really have any choice. Plus, the witch told Carol that after you get this one, the deal is like, I'm really gonna help you. I'm gonna go through with the deal. So Carol's like, okay, bet. So let's call the submitter Cam. So Carol goes to try and unalive Cam. However, when Carol saw Cam and observed Cam, she realized that Cam is such a good person. Like, Cam is such a pure soul. And although she's been turned into this, murdering men thing, she's like, damn, like, this person actually don't deserve this. Now, from Cam's perspective, like, there are weird things that are happening to him, right? Just regular, like, haunting stuff. Until Carol actually decided to speak to Cam and basically reveal to Cam, like, hey, I was sent here to take you out, but I don't want to because you're a pure soul. And from watching you, I think I might actually be in love with you too. And if I was alive, you'd be the man that I would want to marry. So because of that, I'm not going to alive you, but I'll do you one better. I'm going to go unalive the person that sent me to unalive you. And just so you know, the person that I'm about to unalive, the one that wanted me to unalive you, she's very evil. Your family seems to think that she's a sweet person, but she's not. She's a witch. And she's been unaliving all of the men. And there was about 13 of them in his family that were just like passing away mysteriously. Like they're just dying. So boom. She tells him that, and she does exactly that. She goes back and she unalives the witch. She dragged her and crushed her skull in her own bedroom, the floor of her own bedroom. And guess who the witch was, y'all? His grandmother. The lady that he thought was such a sweet lady. Obviously, now he knows that because, Carol told him that's what she was going to do. And then coincidentally, his grandma passes away right after. And passes away like that. Come to find out, that lady was pretending that her granddaughters were cursed because whenever they would get with somebody, they would just like pass away. The whole time she was using them as sacrifice. In total, 13 boys in his family was unalive, and he's the only one that survived. And so far, he's the only one that knows about this family secret. He didn't really tell anybody because, like, they already thought grandma was sweet. Let them just think that. At least she's not here anymore. Now, before this happened with Carol, he was sick for a very long time and couldn't figure out why he was so sick. And that whole situation was, a dream that she had, like when Carol came to him to tell him, the secret and stuff like that. It was a dream. He was easily able to put two and two together, but it was never confirmed until he went to a psychic that confirmed everything and basically helped break down what was happening. So his dream, the message that Carol was giving him, was never really just, a dream. Now, what do you guys think? Do you guys think he was saved or was he chosen?
Can we show him the older homestead?
Yeah, let's go. As you know.
No, it's not. No, it's not. Was that you?
Yeah, that's on either side.
They went to both.
Yeah.
You got your snack? Because if you don't, I suggest you go get it right now. Because you know what time it is. This story is actually coming from Kenya. So there's this little girl. Let's call her Penny. Now, Penny grew up in a small town in Kenya called Nakuru. I don't know if I said that right, so if I didn't, please correct me in the comments. So growing up in Kenya, the culture is rich, obviously, right? But one thing that Penny always liked to see was when everybody wore their waist beads. She thought waist beads were so beautiful, and for the longest, she's been asking her parents, like, can I wear waist beads? And for some reason, her parents wouldn't let her. Her parents tried to explain to her that waist beads are very cultural, and they are used for different things within different tribes. Her parents also told her that the people in their town don't wear waist beads for no reason. Sometimes those waist beads are specifically made for them, gifted to them by their family. And Penny heard all of that, and yeah, she understood, but she really wants a waist bead. But nobody will let her, right? And so there comes this one day where Penny got sent to the market to buy some things. She went to the market, she bought everything she was supposed to buy, and on her way back, walking, there was a waist bead on the floor. Now, this stopped Penny dead in her tracks, and she's looking at those waist beads, and she's like, I really want some waist beads. But the thing is, the waist beads that were on the floor, they were perfectly fine. It's not like it broke off of somebody. So she's thinking maybe somebody accidentally dropped it or something. And she's like, well, I'm going to take it. This is my luck. Like, I've been wanting it for such a long time. And she took it, put it in her pocket, and went home. She got home, her day went on like normal, except she hid those waist beads because she knows her parents already told her no. So at nighttime, when everybody's in bed, that's when she's like, I'm going to try those waist beads on. She tries them on, and they're so pretty. She's so happy, but she knows she can't keep it on. So she takes it off and she hides it again. And then she goes to bed. Penny had no idea what she just did. So she goes to sleep, and she starts to have a nightmare instantly. She has a dream that she found herself tied up to a tree in some neighbor's yard, and she can see her house from afar, and she can see her family, but she's screaming for them and nobody can hear her. She's stuck under that tree for a while, and she's trying her best to get people's attention, but it's not working. The only person that know that she's there is the only person that put her there, like that tied her up to that tree. And she can see that the person that did this to her is this lady, this older looking lady, but she's also standing very far apart. She's just standing there, staring at her, smiling, but she can't really see a face. And this feels like the longest dream ever. It feels like she is sitting there for like months. She's hysterical. She's young at the time, right? She's a kid. And after what felt like forever, she suddenly wakes up from this terrible, horrible dream. But when she wakes up, she realizes she's not in her room anymore. She's in her yard. It's dark, and there's so many people around her, including her parents. And her parents look like they'd been crying. So here's the thing. Every time I tell y'all a story time, there's always at least one person in the comments that says, oh, I will never go to Haiti, or I will never go to Africa. And if you're an OG, you know that I've spoken about this for years. But do y'all know that this is happening right here in the U.S.? All of the things that I'm saying, the story times that people are giving me from their home countries are happening here too. Scary story time from the U.S. Also, I've mentioned this before, like for years too, but I need y'all to get it out of your heads that only foreigners do black magic. 2024, everybody is involved in black magic. Foreigners may be a little more educated about it because it's literally their culture. But why do y'all think I get on here and I tell y'all to stop doing things y'all see on this app? Anyways, this happened in Miami, Florida. I'm gonna try to keep this in one part. I'm gonna try. There's this lady, let's call her Liz. Liz was pregnant. If you're an OG and you've been watching me for years, you know where this is going. Anyways, she got pregnant, and about 3 to 4 months into her pregnancy, there was a cat that kept coming to her doorstep, especially at nighttime. Most of the time it would be at nighttime. Now, Liz doesn't know too much about like voodoo or anything like that. Like, she knows some stuff, like superstition stuff, that's what she calls it. So to Liz, this is just a stray cat that likes food, and so Liz would feed that cat. And that's the first mistake that she made. If you know, you know. And so as the months were going by, that cat never missed a night where that cat didn't come to Liz's doorstep. This happened throughout her entire pregnancy. Liz liked that cat because that cat was unique. And why was that cat unique, you say? The cat's cry sounded like a baby's cry. Again, Liz doesn't know anything about that stuff. So to her, that's just a very unique cat. So fast forward, Liz gives birth. She has a very healthy baby girl. And as soon as she got home with said baby girl, the cat came back, except this time, the cat didn't come through her front doorstep, but it would come by the window of the baby's room. Again, Liz doesn't know anything about that stuff. She's thinking this is a guardian angel for her baby because that cat has been there throughout her whole pregnancy, and now the cat is coming to the baby's window at night. And so that cat must be some kind of angel sent to protect her baby. Right? It wasn't until one night the cat came, was crying like a baby by the baby's window. So that woke Liz up, and she decided to just go check on the baby, just because. Only to find that that baby, unfortunately, had passed away. Now, she didn't know that the baby passed away right away, but of course the baby wasn't breathing or anything, so she rushed to the hospital, and they declared the baby, they called it SIDS. They put it off as SIDS. But you want to know the weird thing? Ever since that night, that cat never came back. Now, this brings me to a theory. How many SIDS cases are actually spiritual? Just think about it. If you know, you know. We know how this works. Like, if you've been following me, you should already know how this works. We should already know, like, what happened to the baby. I even have a video, a couple of videos down, that shows a lugao being caught taking somebody's baby's soul. So, is it far-fetched to think that a lot of SIDS cases are actually spiritual?
Paranormal story time. If it's late at night for you, I would suggest you not watch this video. So to set the scene, this is the middle of winter when I was about 7 to 8 years old, and at this particular time in my life, I had a bestie, a ride or die best friend. We're gonna call her Lily. Me and her were together almost every single weekend. I'm talking about ride or die best friend to the end. You get my drift. And on this particular weekend, we had a sleepover, as we usually did. Her family had an electric piano in the basement. This basement was creepy. I'm talking about Basement from the Cabin in the Woods creepy. If you know the movie, then you know my reference. Cobwebs everywhere. You wouldn't have wanted to go down there. I'm one to always fall asleep before everybody. During a sleepover, I always fall asleep early. I just cannot stay awake. I cannot hang. So I fall asleep before her. Mind you, she had a bunk bed. She would sleep on the top and I would sleep on the bottom. As I'm going to bed, I just don't feel good. In my soul, in my energy, this felt different. I didn't feel right. I felt very uncomfortable. The house was freezing cold, and the house was dark. I mean, pitch black. You could not see your hand in front of your face. I'm so serious. Her dad was the type to where if it was bedtime and you were going to sleep, you had to turn off the TV. You had to turn off the lights. Everything had to go off. You weren't keeping a light on in this house. I wake up in the middle of the night. I don't know what time it is. It's dark. I'm having trouble going back to sleep. I'm tossing and turning. After about 45 minutes go by, I start to be able to doze back off. No sooner do I start to fall asleep, I'm awakened by the sound of music. I don't know where the sound's coming from. It wasn't a TV. Nothing's on. There's not a light on in this house. I remember vividly I was laying on my stomach, so my back was exposed. And this is when I feel a rush of air go down my back, and it's cold air. I'm frozen with fear. But after a few minutes go by, I get the courage to try to wake up my friend. I call her name, there's no response. I call her name again, still nothing. After I call her name a third time, the music does stop. I have to get up. I'm trying to find my way to the door because it's dark. Like I said, you can't see anything. I finally reach the doorknob, and as I start to twist it, the music starts playing again. There's no turning back. I have to pee. I gotta go now. I run to the bathroom, and this bathroom is closer to the basement. And if you remember earlier, I said that they had an electric piano down there. It was the piano. The piano is playing. I finish using the bathroom, and I run back to the bedroom. I get under the covers so fast, but that's not even the crazy part of the story. The next morning, I tell my friend about this piano playing. She goes, "The old piano from the basement?" I said, "Yes." She's like, "There's no batteries in that piano." I actually, sadly, did not go back to her house after this. We actually stopped being friends. When I told her that I didn't want to go back over there, it kind of just put a bad taste in her mouth, I guess, but I know what I heard. The piano was playing.
What the fuck was that? Bro!
What's going on around you?
I don't know. I'm frozen. I am frozen.
Did the window
Sean.
break?
So if you didn't know, I grew up in Appalachia and things can get a little scary. That being said, somebody sent me an email this week and their story is centered in Appalachia. And forewarning, this story is so scary, I was literally terrified the entire time. So without further ado, grab your favorite tea and settle in while I tell you a scary story, because of course, this is Tea After Midnight. This story comes from Ashley. I live in the Appalachian Mountains, and believe me, I have heard and seen some pretty creepy things in my time of living here. This happened about 8 years ago. My husband suggested we go on a hike to enjoy the beautiful fall weather we were having. I said yes, as I love to go look at the changing leaves every fall. We got all of our gear together and loaded up into the car. We also took our golden retriever, Bella, with us. She loved to go on hikes. We drove for about 30 minutes before we arrived at our favorite access point to get onto the trail. We grabbed our packs and I clipped Bella's leash on and we began walking into the forest. We all were having the best time just taking in the beautiful scenery of the leaves falling. Bella in particular, as she would always try to catch the leaves in her mouth. We were probably 45 minutes deep into the forest when we heard a scream. It sounded like a human, but a little off. Like whatever was screaming was trying to imitate a human. Growing up in the Appalachian Mountains, there are certain rules you follow to ensure your safety. If you see something, no you didn't. If you hear something, no you didn't. If something whistles, you do not whistle back. And you most certainly do not go looking for the things making these noises. Growing up in Appalachia, these rules are second nature to me. But to my husband, who did not grow up here and was a native to California, he did not remember the rules that I told him. As soon as we hear the scream, he darts off into the woods to help the person making these noises. I screamed for him to stop, but he didn't listen. He kept charging through the forest trying to find the person who screamed. Panic started to set in, but I couldn't let him go off by himself, so I ran after him. Bella was terrified and would not follow me. She kept pulling me back with her leash as I tried to run, but she didn't want to go. Which in the grand scheme of things, I don't blame her for being terrified. I bent down and scooped the 60-pound dog up and began running after my husband. I can see him running and looking in every direction trying to find the source of that scream. I yelled out his name and told him to stop right now. He stopped and turned around to face me. I caught up to him and grabbed his arm. I repeated the rules to him and told him to listen to the sound of that scream and tell me if he thinks it sounds human. Luckily, the thing screamed one more time, and this time it sounded very distorted. The scream sounded more creature-like than human. I looked my husband in the eyes and I saw tears welling up. He responded with, "That is definitely not human." I pulled his arm and started leading him back toward the trail, trying to be as silent as we could. Still holding Bella in my arms, I could feel her shaking. My husband grabbed Bella from me and told me to go in front because he didn't want whatever was behind us to sneak up on me. I saw the trail in front of us, and when I turned to tell my husband it was just up ahead, I see Bella gritting her teeth off to the side where we were walking. She started to low growl and push against my husband like she wanted down, making it impossible for him to carry her. He sat her on the ground, and she got in front of both my husband and I and started to growl like I'd never seen her do. She was bearing down like she was ready to defend us if anything came our way. We all backed up slowly onto the trail, Bella still gritting her teeth. Just then I heard a few voices from behind me on the trail. I turned to see a couple walking in a fast pace beginning to pass us. They were walking back down the trail heading toward the small parking lot at the beginning of the trail access point. Then the woman stopped and asked me if we heard a scream. I looked at her with utter shock and said yes, we did. She said they did too, and that it didn't sound human. It sounded like something was trying to sound human. I told her we thought the same thing and that we all needed to get out of there as quickly as possible. With no hesitation from anyone, my husband picked Bella up and we started to fast walk down the trail until eventually we got back to our cars. The closer we got back to the cars, the more calm Bella became. Finally, back at the car, my husband put Bella in the car and she seemed totally fine. We spoke to the couple for a second as we told them we had never heard anything quite like that before. The woman, however, said she had when she was younger. Apparently, she grew up in the Appalachian Mountains as well, and growing up, her and her cousin were playing in the woods of their grandparents' home. That's when they heard a scream similar to the one we all heard that day. Her cousin went to check it out, but said it sounded like it was getting farther and farther away. Then the cousin came back screaming and pulled her back to the house saying she saw something but didn't know how to describe it. And to that day wouldn't speak about it and would change the subject if it was brought up. All of us freaked out. We got into our cars and headed back home. My husband and I have not been hiking since. We really don't like to talk about it as it's truly so haunting. I've heard and seen some weird things in Appalachia, but this story takes the cake for me. Ashley, that is absolutely terrifying. I'm so glad that y'all are okay, because I feel like after reading this, that could have went a completely different way. And you are 100% right about the rules. If you see something, no you didn't. And if you hear something, no you didn't. And you certainly don't go searching for whatever made that noise, because I promise you, if you go looking, you're going to find something you don't want to see. But that concludes this episode of Tea After Midnight. If any of you have a personal scary story you want to share with me, I would love to read it. You can either comment on the video, or if you want, you can email me, and the email is going to be in the caption of this video. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful night, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.